first of all, we do some stretch. We're going to go back to the old style stretches, because normally I do the sinew relaxing stretch, which is the shaking ones, but today we're going to just go through a normal stretching sequence because somebody asked me about this, so we'll do that. Please, if you're online, if you can sign in, just send me a message so I know you're online, and Sam will hold it up so I know who's there, so I can know who I'm talking to. That's great. I always like to know who's in the classes. Well, I don't need to know, but it's nice to say hello. Forward and backwards. Sides. So I do a lot of net stretching exercises. So these warm-up exercises, we're only doing 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes. Normally we do a lot longer. If I'm training by myself, I do a lot longer than this. But because of the video, we don't really want to, the class, we don't want to spend a long time doing the stretches. I want to spend more time in the actual applications of the exercises themselves. So this is the speed version of the stretches. One of my favourite neck exercises is the turtle exercise, where you bring your head forward, like a turtle sticking out of a shell. And I think with our spending times on our laptops and things like that, that's a really good exercise, because we have a tendency when you're on the laptop, you're looking down, so go the other way. Cool. Do our shoulders. So the whole idea of the stretches, of course, is the more we stretch all the joints and ligaments and tendons, the more the energy moves, the more there's no blockages. And it's important, especially in the joints, because that's where all our articulation happens in our body. And that's the points when there's acupuncture points all around these points. And mainly for obvious reasons, because they're all the as I say, the bending parts of our body, and that's where the chi gets blocked, funny enough. And the same with the hips, knees, and ankles, the same thing. There's acupuncture points all the way around them. Obviously, somebody knew that's where the oil can needs to go for the joints. Cool. And just move the arm backwards and forward. And I'm going to swing my arm over the top. Nice and slowly. And go the other way. What? The other way. Cool. Bring your elbow across the front and stretch your shoulders. Stretch your shoulders. Just the other side. Good. Then put your hand behind your neck and push your elbow down. Interlock your fingers at the back and lift your arms up. And relax. Lift them up again. And relax. Good. Do circles with your elbows. Circles with your wrists. Bend our wrists. To our fingers individually. So you loosen up all the joints in your fingers. It's really good to do this. It'll save getting arthritis later in life if you keep all the energy in all the joints, keep the blood circulation, keep the chi circulating. Flip the wrists. Good. Do our spine. Turn our spine to the side. And in this case, go right around with your head as well. Some people are very flexible. Turn it right around the back and have a look at the back. I saw somebody in a car the other day. I was driving a car and they turned around in the car to look backwards. They turned right around. It was a weird looking thing when they turned all the way around. They were like looking at me this way. Their neck was so flexible, it was quite freaky. It just reminded me doing this exercise, just reminded me of that. Very good. Circles with your hips. So I'll go back. There's another exercise we need to do for the spine. It's all part of the sinew stretching as well, but it's such a good exercise. I'll go back to that. We'll just do these circles first and we'll go back to it. So this is the one where you don't move the hips and you move the upper body. And you're moving from side to side and your hips don't move. And so you're moving your spine backwards and forwards that way. And you're trying to get the flexibility of your lower spine, L4 and L5 right down the bottom and moving from side to side, yeah, and then moving backwards and forwards. But you're not moving your hip. You're just moving the top part of your body. It's a strange feeling, but it's such a good stretch for your lower back. Good. Move your hips from side to side. And move your neck as well. Other way. Good, and then come forward. Bring there forward. Just have your arms draping down. Feel the stretch in your back. You can have your legs straight or bent, it doesn't matter. It's more to do with your back. And then stretch backwards. Come forward. And then backwards. Good. And do your knees, bring your feet together, right? Bring your knees, circles with your knees. Circles the other way. And squatting down. You sit down and squat. And back up again. And down. Up. Very good. Stick your legs out. Circles with your ankles. Circles the other way. Yeah, the other side. Stand on the side of your foot, bend down, stretch your ankles. Through the other side. Good. Stretch your legs a bit, to the side. The other way. Very good. Bring your knees to the side. A bit of hamstrings. And back. And forward. Very good. Bring one toe up. And the other side. There you go. Steph B. Morning, Steph B1. Yeah, you'll come in here soon, aren't you? I want to see you shortly. That's very, very cool. Be great to catch up in person. That'd be very cool. Welcome to the class. If anybody asks too, if you're online and you're watching at the moment, just say hello. Then I know who's online and I can say hello to you. So we're doing this transformation step. Now this, believe it or not, is really difficult to do, and I don't know why. I've never worked it out why people have difficulty with this. Whether it's the way we walk or whether the way we transfer weight normally, but there's something happens with this exercise which is extraordinarily difficult, and I'd have to say I don't know why. Because the theory of it's relatively easy. So we'll do just the step itself without doing the exercise, then we'll put it into an exercise. I'll show you one of the show exercises. There's a few times this happens inside Qigong exercise. Happens a lot in Tai Chi. So that's when we transfer weight from one to the other. So we go to the wide shot, Sam, go to the wide shot. And so I'm going to step off. So I'm going to step off and I'm going to go to the right side. So I'll mirror you. So step off with our right foot, yeah, and it goes that way there. And it's only a short step. It's not a big wide step. It's just a short step. Just take a short step. And then all you have to do is transfer weight into the front leg, yeah? But when you move the weight into the front leg, you want to unload the back leg completely. So when I'm on the front leg and I'm standing on the front leg, I can lift the back leg off the ground like that. It's not touching the ground. But you notice my head doesn't do this. So I'll come forward a bit so you can see it. I don't have to do this. I don't have to move forward first and then lift the leg up. I'm already here and then I just lift the leg up. So my head doesn't move at all because I'm 100% weighted on the front foot. And if I go back to the back, the same thing happens. In the back foot, I can lift the front foot off the ground. So I'm 100% weighted in the back foot. Remember the slight bend. I have bends in my knees both times. So I don't have straight legs anyway. It's because I bend my legs to keep, so I'm engaging the energy in my leg by standing on my muscles. If I stand on my bones, it's different. If I stand on my muscles, then engages all the meridians, yeah? So now I'm standing on the back leg, so there's no weight in the front foot, it's just standing there. And so if I've got any weight in the front, I'll move some weight in the front foot slightly. There you go. Now, if I do this now, if you watch my head have to move backwards first and then pick the leg up. I might go to the side so you can even see it even more obviously. Yep. So if I've got any weight in the front foot, I'll move a bit of weight. From here, to take the front foot off the ground, I've got to go backwards and then I've got to lift the foot up. But in theory, I should be at the back and I can just lift the foot up and my head doesn't move at all. That's the principle of it. But it's not easy to do. So we'll come back to the front again, stepping off to the right again. All the weight's in the back foot. All the weight goes to the front foot, 100% weight, yeah? And you should be able to, without moving my head, I should be able to move my foot off the ground, yeah? Yeah, and put it back. And so the key to how you work out whether you're doing this or not is when you bring it forward, and if you even put a mirror in front of yourself sometimes to watch yourself whether you do this or not, or get somebody to hold you, which is even easier, and I'll explain that in a second. And just sit there and see if you move forward. See if you have to do this. See if you have to do that first. I'm going to do it from the side so you can see it. Yeah, so I'm forward this way. See if you have to do this with my head. Watch my head move. If I've got to go forward first and pick the back leg up, or whether I just pick the back leg up and my head doesn't move. That's the difference between 100% weighting. So we unload 100% every time we walk because you cannot pick the foot off the ground. Even if there's 1% energy in the ground, you can't pick it off the ground. 1%, 99 on this foot. If there's 99 on one side and 1% on the other, no matter what I do, I've got to completely unload it 100% before I can pick it up. Otherwise I can't do that. I have to, because if I've got 1% in there, I can't get it off the ground. It has to come off the ground with 100% all weighted on the other side. So it's empty. It has to be empty, otherwise you can't lift it. When we walk, of course, we do this all the time. When we're walking, we're transferring weight from side to side. As we go, we're going right side, left side, right side, left side, and we have to transfer weight, otherwise we can't get a foot off the ground. So this this last 5% is the tricky piece, is to get it off completely. So when you go to one side, you lift the leg up, go to the other side, 100% weight, lift the leg up. My head doesn't move. But if you go one side, and before you get the leg off, if I've got to move over first and then bring it up, then I wasn't 100% weighted. And this 100% weight is important because once you're on 100% weight in the leg, then all the energy is coming up one leg and not the other one. Because all the weight's on that one, all engaged, all the meridians in that leg that you're standing on. But if you've got weight in the other one, they're engaged in the other one too. And a lot of these exercises to teach you how to have all the power coming up one leg And it's so extremely important for balance to get, so you have really good balance forever. But if you're like resting, like something like standing with a walking stick, as soon as you lift the stick off the ground, you've got to be able to balance. If you put it down on the ground again, just touching the ground, you still have a form of balance. So I'm going to go into the exercise for, which one's a nice easy one? We'll do rolling with the waves. We'll do two of them. We'll do rolling with the waves first, which is from the Taiji Qigong system. And running with the waves looks quite simple. So we step off with the right foot. Yep. You bring your hands up to the palm facing forward. Yep. Now with this stage, all the weight's in the back foot. There's no weight in the front foot. It's just sitting on the ground. You're going to come forward and you're going to press. And it's like pushing the energy forward. And then you bring the back leg forward. And as you do that, it comes up. And your toe goes behind, just beside the other foot. And the toe's on the ground, not the heel. The toe's on the ground. And then you have your palms facing the ground and you have your head, chin on the chest like that. When you step back, it goes toe, heel, and then step back. And this stage, the toe comes up to the ground of the right foot. The hands come back and then they go down, palms forwards. And then it goes toe first, press with the hands. And the back leg comes forward. Back leg comes forward, palms to the ground. Don't let your fingers go down, it's just the palms to the ground. Chin on chest. Good. Step back. Toe. Oh, excuse me. Heel. Come back. Toe comes off the ground. Now this is where we're going to start doing it. So first of all you've got to do is you've got to put your toe down first. Now, this is another piece. We'll add to this to add to our misery today. Not only weight change, but you've got to be able to put that toe down. Walter. Good morning, Walter, from America. It must be nice and cool at your place. Toe down. So you got to put the toe down without transferring weight into the front foot. So if you watch my head again, if I put my toe down and I move forward to do that, then I'm changing from 100% weight into the toe and I'm transferring weight across to put the toe down. You don't do that. Stay 100% weighted. So remember, it's just not 100% weighted. I haven't moved, well, actually move my foot then. Just 100% weighting. Yeah. Heels on the ground, 100% weighting. When I put the toe down, I'm still 100% weighting. Yeah. Heel or toe. So when you lower your toe, all you do is lower your toe, but you don't move forward to lower your toe. You just lower your toe. This is tricky as well. Yeah. So lower your toe. Don't move. Just lower your foot. Heel on the ground. Lower your toe. And to do that, to lower your toe down, you need to bend the back one slightly to do that. See the back one's bending down as I do that? Because if you just do the toe, or you can just do the toe, or just lower the back one down slightly. But the weight is still 100% on the back foot. Good. Toe goes down, no change. Good. Go forward. Pressing forward. Now we've got 100% weight on the front foot. Now basically the second foot's come on, the toe's just touching the ground, but basically you're standing on one leg. The toe's just resting there. It's not doing anything. You're not supporting any weight on it. Yep. Come forward. We step back. Now this is the next piece. Toe, heel. When I put the heel down the ground, I don't transfer any weight back to put the heel down. I just put the heel down. It goes toe, heel. If I want to, I can move the back foot forward again, even though the heel's on the ground. And there's no change in weight. Toe, heel, comes back. Toe, heel. No weight change yet. 100% on the front foot. Then come back onto the back foot. Unload the front foot. So all the weight 100% on the back foot. Good. Toe down first. Don't move though. Just put your toe down. Good. Now just to see if you've moved forward, just bring your foot back. And if you notice if you've got to move any distance backwards to get that foot back, you've moved forward. So heel, toe. Don't ask me why this is difficult, but it is. Come forward. I shouldn't say that because then I jinx everybody. Good. Going back. Toe, heel first. No weight. If you want to test it, don't move and just bring the foot back. If your head moves, then there's weight in it. You move for weight when you put your heel down. Then come back, rolling back. Toe off the ground. Good. Now all the weight's on the back foot. Just pick the foot up if I want to. And now toe down first. Don't move. Then come forward. Back foot forward. 100% weight on the front foot. Toe, heel. Still 100% weight on the front foot. Then change the weight. It's so important that it's done in the sequence. of the energy, because how the energy transferring from the foot to the, now, toe down first. Good, then come forward. We're going to try the other side, so. Good, stepping back. Toe, heel. Remember, bring your foot back, still no weight in it. Coming back, very good. And bring your foot down. Try the other side. As I say, I don't know why this is difficult, because normally when we walk, I think when we walk is generally, and I can't prove this, of course, it's just a theory. But I think what happens when people walk is they push their weight, they're leaning forward when they're walking, and they're sort of falling into the foot. Your foot like that. You fall into the foot, and so you commit yourself to the step before you take it, because if you're trying to stop yourself there, you wouldn't be able to do that. You're just going to fall forward because you've already committed yourself to walking. But when you walk, one of the Tai Chi walking things is if you walked across a stream with rocks in it, and you put your foot on the rock, you feel the rock to see if it's stable or not first, and then you go and change weight on it. And you feel for the next rock, feel it, and give it a bit of a push to see if it's strong, and then you move like that. When you Tai Chi walk, you do this, feel the strength, and you walk forward. But I think what happens is generally what we've never been really taught how to walk properly. There is a very distinct way of walking with energy and with balance. But what we do is we sort of step on the rocks without any, we might not go that fast, but we don't test the rock. We just change the weight, and halfway across, we're committed to the rock. Before we even test it, we're committed to it, and we stand on the rock. And then we stand on the rock. We're already committed. So if it's going to wobble, it's going to wobble, and we haven't made our foot firm first. The Tai Chi, what the Tai Chi or the Qigong walking does, is secure the foot first, then comes forward. It secures the foot first, then comes forward. So then you already have the foot on the rock, tested it, and then you come forward. So it's very precise where you walk. So when you're walking, if it need to be when you're walking, you can just stop any time, stop any time, stop any time. And then, so you always have control of when you're stepping. There's classes on me walking, teaching you how to do walking classes. It's such a different way of walking, but when you do that, you walk with precision, yeah? Anyway, back to this, because it's the same principle. We're doing the other side, aren't we? So we're going to step out with our right foot again, and bring your, so our left foot this time, bring your toe up, hands facing forward. Now remember the same thing again. Toe goes down first. Don't go forward, just toe goes straight down. And for me, I'm going to bend the right leg slightly as the toe goes down. And then I'm going to come forward. Palms go forward, chin goes down. Back foot comes forward, just touches the ground now. And now 100% weight in the front foot. Stepping back, toe, heel first. Now there's no weight in the back foot. I can just bring it back. No weight. Then come back. Toe comes off the ground. Now there's no weight in the front foot. I just move the foot up and down. Toe goes down first, then come forward. And as I say, this is not easy to do. I know I talked to Walter about, who's on the class today, Walter about this is just such a difficult thing. And when you're teaching, he teaches in America. And when you're teaching, it's so difficult to get people to do this. Toe first, then come forward. And as I say, I don't know why. I think it's the way we walk. That's my theory for the day anyway. Good. Toe, heel, then come back. Looking up. Toe down first, then come forward. So this precision is so important. Do two more. Heel, come back. Do the same out both sides. Toe down, come forward. Toe, heel, come back. Do one more. Toe down, forward. Toe, heel, come back. Good, step to thigh. We're going to do an exercise straight after this one, which is what wild goose flying? Dove spreads wings from the Shubha as well. So we're going to do the same thing. We step off with the right. And this time our hands, we're going to do 2 feet forward and 2 feet backwards. The hands come right round the side. And the back of the hands go to the back of the hands. So I can show you. So go to the back of the hands, back of the hands. And they go in towards your chest. They touch your chest and you push into your sternum. Put your head down. Now the same weight as the other exercise. You've got all your weights on your right foot with your left's just touching the ground. Now we're going to step back, toe, heel, and we're going to step back, and we're going to step all the way back with the other foot as well. We're going to open up like spreading our wings. Now we're going to step forward. Step. Toe first. Then come forward. Put your chin down on the chest. Looking down. Good. Stepping back. Toe, heel. First. I can just move the foot back if I want to. Toe, heel. Then step back. Change weight. Open the wings. Bring the foot back. Good. Stepping forward. Toe, heel first. Remember that toes on the ground. I'm still bringing the foot back. Toe on the ground. Come forward. As I say, you might have to go back to this video and watch this again. This is not easy to do. And especially if you're teaching, for some reason, people have a lot of difficulty with this. Heel, toe, come forward. Toe, heel, go back. Heel, toe, go forward. Toe, heel, go back. Swap to the other side, eh? Come on the other side with our left foot, heel first, then the toe goes down first. Don't put any weight in it. There's still no weight in the front foot. Come forward. Chin on chest. Then step back. Toe, heel, come back. Heel, toe, come forward. Toe, heel, come back. Heel, toe, go forward. Toe, heel, come back. And lots of exercises don't, of course, change weight 100%, but as soon as you're going to move a foot, you're going to do that. So any exercise that change feet, it has to be 100% weight on the other foot. Good. Toe, heel, toe, come forward. Toe, heel, come back. Bring your foot up and then bring your foot down. Good. So there you go. So there's two exercises that do that. So we'll find another exercise too. Well, I'm going to give a piece to anybody that does Tai Chi. This is one, and this is for you, Mark. I know that you're flying at the moment, but when you land, and I know you're going to watch this video, there's a exercise in Tai Chi, the same thing in Yang Style form, especially Yang Style form, have complete 100% weight changes. Some forms don't. Some have 70-30s, and depending on what the form is and depending how it's taught, and depending on the martial application, because remember Tai Chi is a martial art, so it has martial applications. And I'll explain a little bit about this because I think it's useful, because it's the same principle, and you can take this into any Qigong exercise when you're moving weight from one side to the other. We'll use parting wild horse's mane, which is a classic posture in Tai Chi, Yang Style Tai Chi. And so I'm going to step off to my right again. And you can do this as a practice because it's like Qigong anyway. So I'm stepping off to the side and I do the same thing. I step, heel, toe. Now as soon as I do heel, toe, I haven't changed any weight. It comes back. So your heel, toe. And once the toe's on the ground and you've connected your kidney point to the ground, now you can transfer weight into it. But if you've got the toe off the ground, if I transfer weight into the foot, it's not anchored yet. And I'm moving into an unweighted foot. Yep. So you understand the principle of that is that this idea of this foot, if the toe's off the ground. Now how you can see this manifest if I do this and I put my foot up, my toes off the ground and it's not on the ground. If somebody holds my body, it's easy to do in a practical class with people, but you can get somebody to do this. If you put your hand against my chest, to put that toe down on the ground, if I lean forward to put the toe down, I've got to move forward. Yep. And at the moment I can't do anything because I'm stuck because my foot's in the air, so I've got no power coming from that foot. And I can't get forward. I've got to go forward to put it down. But if you can put the toe down first, and now I've got that grip, I can pull myself into the foot. But I can't do that if the toe's off the ground. So that's why the foot has to be down first, and then you can come forward. Yep. And that's such an important principle, especially martial art wise. If I'm standing here doing part wild horse's mane, and I step, heel, and I've got the toe off the ground, if I go forward to that point, somebody, all they got to do is just hold me in this point, and I can't actually move. I'm stuck because I've got to get down on that ground. Otherwise, I'm trying to push off the back leg. But as soon as I put the toe down, I can push straight forward into the leg. And it's like once the energy is connected to the front, the toes and your kidney point are connected to the ground, you can pull yourself forward into that foot because you have the power on the ground. But if you're on your heel, you can't do that. It's difficult. Well, you can pull yourself in the heel a little bit. But once the toes on the ground, you have all this power and you can pull yourself forward. So that's why it's so important when we're stepping, is it goes heel, toe, then move across, and then rotate. Yeah. And they have this rotation at the end. Now, when I'm in this position, the question is, are you 100% weighted in the front foot, or are you 80-20 between the 2 feet? And there should be a gap between your feet as well, so that there's not standing on I'll turn this way, so I'm not standing like that, 1 foot behind the other. Because I'm standing like that, I can just be pushed over really easy. I need to have a platform, so 1 foot slightly behind it, so I have this gap between my feet, so I have a movement of a platform, so I've got more stability. So we've done it. Toe, kneel, heel, toe, come forward, weight. Now to move from here, now Tai Chi, especially Yang style, moves yin and yang all the time, goes backwards and forwards. We're going to go forward, we go backwards. We go backwards, we go forward, and it changes all the time. So with this posture, if we're here, if we're not 100% weighted in the front foot, to move the back leg, we're going to have to go forward to move the back leg. We have to unload the back leg. But if you go right forward and it's already 100% weighted on the front foot, I don't have to move, my head doesn't move, the foot can just come forward, yeah? And then I can move the foot any direction I want to, because all the weight's spinning on one leg. But if I have anything loaded in the back leg, I've actually got to move forward first before I can unload it. That moving forward is the movement of your downfall. Because if you have to move forward, the person that's working with you, especially in martial art, gets that movement forward to play with, because you're moving and you've got to move before you can move. So your center has to come forward before you can unload your foot. But if it's already moved forward, then you can move your foot anywhere you like. It doesn't make any difference because you're standing on one leg. Now, of course, the understanding of that is you've got all your weight in one leg. How stable are you in one leg when you haven't got any weight in the other leg? I asked my teacher this one day, which was a silly thing to do. And he said to me, he said, "Oh, Pete, just kick my foot, kick the leg." So I stood on one leg. He put I can't remember how he stood. I think he stood like that. I can't remember. He took the weight off of one of the legs. He might have said like that. He said, "I want you to kick the front leg." And so he's standing on one leg, of course, to do that. So I kicked his leg. And it was really, really hard. He says, no, I mean, really kick it. Because my idea, if you're standing on one leg, you can lead sweep that leg and they're going to fall over. Yeah, you're going to leg sweep and they're going to topple over because you don't have a base to standing on. So, okay, so I kicked him. So I said, okay, because he was always like to do this. So I kicked it really hard. Well, it was like kicking a steel bar. It was like kicking a steel bar. It was just like a rock. And all it did was hurt my leg. I suppose if you get kickboxing where you get used to whacking people with your shins, you get a lot harder. But it was like hitting this big piece of steel. I said, oh my God, how do you move that? Because all his weight was powered down through this leg. So his leg was like this rock that he was standing on. And you go, well, you couldn't move that. No matter how hard you kicked, it wasn't going anywhere. But not only his weight of his body, but he had his energy pulling down into the ground. He grounded himself through his energy through the ground and created like the big trunk of a tree. And that's what it felt like kicking it. So then, okay, so I won't ask that question again. It's definitely doing it. I hobbled away because I hurt my leg. And so that this idea of this one-legged weight, but what it does is give you the freedom from this one posture to move the leg forward, backwards. You can move the leg anywhere you like because you're standing on one leg. And you have all these options of all the different directions you can move from one leg. But if you've got 20% on the back leg, you have to move forward first to move the leg. And that movement forward, that's what they want to play with. They'll either bring you too far forward or take you too far back and they've got your center. So I just want to mention that because Mark asked me that the other day, and it's the same principle, exactly the same principle about 100% weighted versus 80-20. Now there are postures where 80-20 are good postures because inside the field you can move the top part of your body inside this 80-20, 70-30, whatever it is you're doing. 80-20, 70-30, yeah, that's great. And so you can move the upper part of the body from those weights, which is absolutely fine. But when it comes to stepping, the weight has to be 100% on one side, otherwise you can't get the foot off. And that slight movement, as I say, if I'm standing there and I go to the side, somebody holds my shoulder, I can't move. I can go the other way, of course, but what I do is I can't move. If I try and lift the foot off the ground, I've got to push against his hand, and if he stops me moving, I can't get the foot off the ground. It's impossible. It's going to keep going back again. That's the energetic principle we're looking for. So, as I say, you just get somebody, if you want to know if you're doing it or not, when we're doing these exercises, and you're sitting back, just get somebody to put their hand on your chest, and then put the toe down, and see if you move forward. Then when you're forward, when your toe's down, then you can pull yourself onto the foot and come forward. And you can also, with the person, you can test by sitting here and try and go forward when your toe's off the ground. Try and move forward when they've got their hand on your chest, holding you back. Move forward off your back leg when the toe's off the ground and see if you can move. But as soon as you put your toe down on the ground and then pull forward in the leg, you can see you can do that. I remember Leanne from New Zealand, a very close friend of mine, and there was people on a piano. There was like about six guys on a piano, and she did both principles in one of my classes. We just happened to have a piano in the room, and we had 6 people sit on the piano, and she did both options where she sat forward, she had her hand on the piano, and then she was pushing herself forward from the piano, pushing off the back leg, pushing from the piano, pushing from the back leg. And the other one, which she did, she got her foot forward and she pulled herself forward from the front leg. She put the foot down, pulled herself forward from the front leg, and there was more power that way than there was pushing off the back leg. And the piano was moving because of it. And it was all because of the grounding and pulling yourself into that foot. And that power that comes with that is very different than the power that comes from pushing off your back leg. I'm not saying that you don't get power off your back leg, I'm just saying it's different. Yep, there you go. Yeah, we went off on a bit of a tangent today, didn't we? That's great though. But this is the finer workings. This is the part of it that you spend years perfecting to understand how the body articulates and how it moves and how it transfers weight, and especially martially what you can and cannot do inside that. But if you can't do it martially, then energetically it's going to be the same. And we're trying to get the best we can out of these exercises. So everything's working perfectly when we're stepping forward. Energy moves from foot to foot, transferring weight. Energy's moving inside the leg perfectly. And we can feel the change of energy weights from one side to the other and feel the balance changing inside it without it being disturbed. So hopefully that's useful today. And have any questions about it, please ask. There's lots of pieces to that. As I say, the easiest is to get somebody to hold you so you can see if you're actually changing your weight. You could see when I do it because you can see my head moving, because you usually have to move, my whole body moves when I change the weight anyway. Hopefully it's useful. Have a great day, Steph and Walter. And Walter will be in the middle of the night, sometime late at night, 10 o'clock at night. Very cool. Steph, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye, we'll just bow, eh? Roll back onto your thumbs. Go. Hands down. Very good, and step back. Very good, everybody. I noticed how passionate I got then about that subject, so it was interesting watching myself getting all excited about it. Excitement's good though, isn't it? Anyway, you have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.